We're grabbing a group photo before the meeting because Rhode Island College Instagram wants to promote us. So, and we love Dr. Moore. Everybody. Well, everybody can come. Yes. Yeah. Thanks so much. Okay, we need a picture. Ted, Cindy, do you guys want to come?
Oh, no, you're good.
Are you sure? Lori, do you want to come?
No, it's up to you. Just come.
Okay.
So I
I can watch with these anyway.
Frank, I was there with Dr.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. So let's get the flag here.
Squeeze in, right under the screen. We're going to have to bring a couple rows.
Miguel, you're over here.
Picture, guys. Go take a picture.
So she had a bunch of, she goes, I'm going to go, I have to do yellow. I don't touch.
I think everybody needs to like spread slightly.
Maybe we should get it there.
Yeah, I'm recording.
She's a Riley Jack, man.
Hey, if you guys don't want to get slightly to finish.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, all eyes on me.
That's my fault.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, SCG, SCG.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That was funny. I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Ted, can you
didn't need those toes, right?
Thank you.
Jack Sam. I'm airdropping.
Oh, you can finish the picture.
He's with Jack Sandwich, he knows. No president.
Ted, you can do that thing where you put the phones together.
Stealing his chair.
It's supposed to open. Alright, thank you. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Awesome.
I was involved in
I don't know why he did it. Yeah, but those are.
I did errands. I ran out, got a drink. I went to Target. Went to the paper store. I didn't understand like what's in the stripe ones. But I was at the end of the rabbits. I don't know what to throw them. I went and looked for all sorts of
I now call to order today's meeting on April 9th, 2025. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to call roll. Matthew Jakes.
Present.
Frank Costello.
Present.
Marina Colonis. Fatio Bobby. Tess Sullivan.
Present.
Clarissa Byers. Zaria Lynn Campbell. Sonia Chitayan. Dante Di Gregorio.
Here.
Jack Doyle.
You know it.
Lindsay Futrell. Kaylin Grant.
Here.
Miguel Hoyos.
Here.
Riley Jackman.
Here.
August Jones. Alexander Kong. Alex Logan.
Here.
Lydia Luther.
Present.
Gianna Rose.
Present.
Benjamin Tomini.
Here.
Lucas Weber. Cindy Kozel.
Present.
Ted Zito.
Here.
Perry Levis. Melissa Marcotte.
Present.
Gianna Delmonico. Thank you, everyone.
So if you look over at the agenda, today we're going to talk to the president here, so we're going to ask him some questions. But first, I'm going to make an amendment. Can I get a motion to approve the amendment of moving the faculty update after Ms. Lori Schaefer's announcements, as they are leaving early? Can I get a motion to approve that? Also, Vice President Costello, would you like to make an amendment?
I would like to add to the amendment to include what is it? Mission statement approval to new business. We have a new mission statement.
Okay. Also, Secretary Colon has an amendment.
I have an amendment to remove SDA from our constitution for today.
So the motion is to approve removing SBA from the agenda, to add to new business the approval of a new mission statement, and to move up the faculty update to after Ms. Lori Schaefer's announcements. Can I get a motion to approve those amendments? First by Representative Durant, seconded by Representative Logan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, passed. So we look at the minutes from January 29th, and then also secretary election, all of the meeting minutes. Once we looked over January 29th, can I get a motion to approve? Oh,
Hi, I know I typed the minutes, but I need to make an amendment. I forgot to I forgot to include all of the abstentions from the budget meeting, so I'd like to amend to include the abstentions. I realized that today, sorry about that.
oh, okay. Can I get a motion to approve that amendment? First by Representative DiGregorio, seconded by Representative Weber. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? If we can look at the secretary, that's the next one. That was the January.
That was March 26th.
My apologies. Okay, so now can we get a motion to approve the January 29th meeting minutes? First by Deputy Speaker Myers, seconded by Representative represented by Representative Guerrero. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed. The next one is the secretary election.
That's the one you just did.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, everybody.
March 5th.
Next one is March 5th. I'm off my game today. Once we've looked that over, can I get a motion to approve the March 5th meeting minutes? First by Representative Poyos, seconded by Representative Jackman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, pass. Just the 26th, sorry. Okay. And then now March 26th meeting minutes. As amended. Can I get a motion to approve the March 26th amended? First by Representative Gregorio, seconded by Representative Jackman. Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed. Good. Now we'll move on to the speakers. Dr. Jack Warner is here to answer some questions, so I hope you all were able to think of some high-level questions to ask him. The semester's wrapping up and the year's wrapping up. Just some, if you have some questions about how next year could look, how the ending of this year will look. So, do you have anything you'd like to say?
There are a few things, if you don't mind me government passed what's called a continuing resolution. They recall it was the risk to shut down the government several weeks ago. And deep cuts have been promised in the federal budget, but the feds kicked that can down the road. They kicked it until the end of September, and they'll have to revisit it again. So we don't know the impact of the major cuts that might occur to state funding, and whether the state would then say to us, whoops, we gave you more money than we should have, we're taking some back. That's called a rescission. Nobody ever likes that, particularly into a fiscal year. We are in a decent position now because we have adequate reserves. We've been able to balance the budget these last several years and put money into reserve as a result. So we have a bit of a cushion to deal with. But just know that's something that we are. So that's a bit of an update from me, the kinds of things that I worry about as your president. So happy to take any questions or comments. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Warner?
I also want to clarify, if you have a question that's like the bathroom in the res life and Donovan doesn't work, I will call facilities with you. That is not a question to ask Dr. Warner. But if you have any like high level questions, now be your time to ask them.
I'm usually not dressed to fix the bathroom. I did dress down a little bit, but I kind of wear my
Okay.
Scg. Yeah.
What are your expectations for our student community government?
Expectations. Great question. My expectations are that you stand up for yourself as leaders. We take some pride here. This is a long-standing tradition at Rhode Island College. I was familiar as a colleague with a number of your past student affairs leaders. Gary Penfield was the vice president, thus Penfield Hall. I knew Gary
I don't know if I've asked you this before, but I feel like I have, but what is your vision for Rick, like, as a whole, overall?
Great question. The vision would be, many people evaluate the success of institutions like this one by how many students we enroll. I'd rather evaluate it by how many students we graduate. So I think we can do a better job getting students through.
I agree with that.
I think we can get students through better in 4 years. It's one thing for students to decide to take longer, and many students do because of other obligations. But
of an impact do you expect a reduction in federal funding would have on student tuition rates?
Okay, I'll answer that question the way I answer every question. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of funding is cut. Unlike Brown, we're not a research institution. So we do have faculty that we have research grants. Our chemistry faculty get some NIH money and some NSF money to do some research, particularly in chemistry. But in general, our faculty do scholarship and some research as part of their own professional growth and development. So we're not as dependent on federal grants. With federal grants come overhead money that the institution can use to support further research and build infrastructure. So NIH cut its overhead rate for those research institutions down to 15%. Many such institutions have indirect rates of 45 to 50%. So that's a huge cut that they would suffer. We're not in that kind of situation where we would suffer from that. We have about 45 million in grants that are awarded either through grants or contracts. Much of that goes through the Sherlock Center, where we provide services to school districts and other places for students with disabilities. So those are contracts that come, federal money comes to Rhode Island Department of Education, and then we contract with them to provide services to the schools. 45 million also covers, now 45 million is the award number. So an award number means that if you got a $10 million grant for 3 years, you're only spending $3.5 million roughly a year. So our annual expenditures on those $45 million grants are about 15 to 16 million. So that would be the impact. Sherlock Center would be affected by that, and we have all our TRIO programs. The TRIO programs include CARE, student support services, and upward bound. Do I have them all? And we have the CARE program as well. We have had those grants for 60 years here at Rhode Island College. Those come through the U.S. Department of Education. So if they blow up the U.S. Department of Education, they blow up all those grants, and we might lose those. Those are aimed at students who have traditionally not benefited from higher education as much as others. So think of first generation, low income students, students of color, benefit from those programs. And they have very good success rates in preparing students to succeed here. So we would miss those grants quite a bit because they would detract from the quality of life for students. So those might be the biggest single risk, though, is in direct financial aid to students. We get $37 million a year for that. And that money goes directly to students in the form of mostly Pell Grants and direct loans. I'm concerned about the capacity of the federal government to manage loans and what that might produce in terms of delays for getting loans approved for students, because those are administered by the U.S. Department of Education. I think they want the Small Business Association or some such entity, and it's not like they're adding capacity to that entity, they're actually cutting that too. So you have to worry about whether they have the capacity to administer this. And Pell Grants, of course, if we lost those or they were reduced, it would significantly affect our ability to help students succeed or even develop. Those are the biggest threats occur from that 37. So we're keeping an eye on it. But it changes every day out there. So, good question.
Dr. Warner is what? What happened? Oh, does someone want to go first? You want to go something? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so my question is, what sacrifices is the school making, what sacrifices are the school making to keep it budget friendly?
you see as the biggest limiting factor in retaining students, and how do you plan to use the money you've saved from cuts to invest in seeing students graduate at a rate more practical?
Well, I think that we need to make some investments in advisors. We have done that. I think we can do a bit more. So, that's a priority. I think, too, there are some areas where we need to hire more faculty because we need to put highly qualified faculty in front of students in the classroom. So that's important. So we're looking at where those needs might be greatest. Advising, we are also hiring 3 new career counselors. If you think about it, 3 of our 5 schools, when you sign up for your degree program, you're also signing up for a career. So you go to the School of Ed, you want to be a teacher. You go to the School of Nursing, you want to be a nurse, social work, the same thing. But in business and in arts and sciences, the connection is not as clear. And one of the things I found when I got here is that we have an old-fashioned way of administering careers courses. And we think we can retain students better if we start them thinking about the connection between their studies and their career as soon as they get here. There are many careers that you can go to with an arts and sciences degree because employers want critical thinkers. They want collaborative problem solvers. They want people who can think and use data and understand how connections work. And those are all outcomes of our general education program and also our arts and sciences curriculum. So we think that connecting students with that will, students who are clear about their goals tend to persist better. So we're going to add 3 full-time people in career services. We've been evaluating a lot of our services. We think we can do a better job of scheduling courses so that students can stay on track. So we had an outside group come in and evaluate the way we schedule. We also are redesigning the registrar's operation here with that in mind as well. So what we're trying to do is pay attention to a lot of our systems and a lot of our support services and try to strengthen those. Because if we strengthen those, then students will persist better. We're also looking at what I call a comprehensive support system. And there will be a team visiting a couple of other institutions who are doing that job well. There's a team that's going to Bridgewater State University in Massachusetts. We have a group that has come together to look at the use of the main floor of the library. It says the first floor, what it is. The 3rd floor of the library as you come in. Big, enormous space. A lot of libraries around the country have redesigned that. They put professional advisors in there, academic supports, which are now down in the basement of the building, like math tutoring, the writing center, and those kinds of things. We think if we can elevate those and make them more visible, more students will take advantage. Great question, Bob.
My question is about the academic integrity board. There's a lot of concern about AI, and mostly, like, everything case you've seen so far is plagiarism, and it's ridiculous that the most all students they have come forward to claim their family, and colleges can just so especially in the nursing departments, people are getting filled down the classes because they do that in the colleges and does it well. AI is getting like the AI check guys like saying that like useful or like mostly AI now, and that's getting a lot of students using the nursing program into trouble. And the nursing program will get 1 or 2 Fs if you got the program. So that's a big problem with the AI. And the problem is the college, we don't know what to do with that because there is no college in place for that. So what is the steps to help students?
Well, it's a great question, and it's very timely. You should know this is the 3rd meeting I've had in this room today. And the first one was at noon, we brought in an expert from the University of Florida to talk about exactly that, what is the appropriate
So one of my professors who knows that I'm in SCG wanted me to bring it to SCG, and I guess it's good that you're here tonight. But she said that there has been like an update to the way that students withdraw from classes, where professors can no longer or like students that don't show up over and over and aren't responsive, and professors, I guess, used to be able to withdraw them, but now they can't without the student's signature or something. So I don't know if you know anything about that. If you know what it is.
I'm not sure about the details of all that, but I know they were making revisions to what we call the withdrawal policy. So, Ted?
Sure, I'm happy to share some. Yeah, it's true that faculty can no longer withdraw a student without the student's request. Well, the faculty can't, I mean, the student has to do it themselves. In a case where a student has not been showing up to class or been absent, if you will, and unable to be reached, the process for that faculty member is to reach out to our office, and then we do our very best to reach out to a student who hasn't been around. We'll email, we'll call, and we'll try to find out more information about where they're going to the extreme of an emergency contact if it gets to that point. And one of the conversations we have is the faculty member's been concerned and don't know that you are in a position that you can necessarily pass the course. Is an option considering you would withdraw, and then we would work with them on how to withdraw that from the course. So it's just a few steps involved, so the student is central in the process, so that they have a say and just can't be withdrawn. That is, I think that policy has been in existence prior to when I arrived, because it was I have been more involved on the other end of it, knowing that faculty aren't able to grade as a W. Does that make sense, or it's helpful? I'm sorry?
The other part of that is if you were withdrawn without knowing, the financial aid implication can be great, and we need to make sure a student understands the implications of being withdrawn and the aid consequences.
I think too, tell your fellow students, one of the worst things they can do is simply walk away. Without talking to somebody, without making arrangements. Everybody here understands when students reach a point where everything becomes overwhelming, and they have to withdraw for a while. But they really need to do it after sitting down with somebody, with a professional, to discuss the implications, including financial aid, a whole host of other things. So I think when we start to tighten some of the processes we use, it's intended to benefit students.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a student representative on the college committee on mission and goals, and my question pertains to the strategic compass that got passed, I believe, last academic year in the Rick Council. So, ever since that passed, what has your office been doing to especially promote the strategic compass and the goals that mission and goals created for the college?
Great question. We used a very collaborative process to create the strategic compass. We used an existing committee of the Rick Council, which is the shared governance mechanism for Rhode Island College. And now we're at the implementation stage. So it'll be a topic of discussion
students like myself, the Pell Grant pays for most of my attendance here. So if I were to lose that, my education scholarships would probably cover half.
The entire business model of institutions like this that serve a high percentage of Pelham-specific basically presence of the Pelham College. I wish I had a better answer.
So I have a question about like why college here, like in America, is so expensive. Like I went to Spain for a semester, and all the programs that I looked at, I was like, why do I even go to school in America? Like I could be paying a fraction of this cost to live in like Spain for all 4 years. But the other costs would probably be more expensive, but they pay like a couple $100 per class over there, and yeah, I'm just wondering like what makes college here so expensive.
Well, it's a great question, and there are a couple of different answers depending on the type of institution you're talking about. Private institutions have to rely on tuition and fee dollars plus taking a portion of their endowment each year to fund the operations of those institutions. They don't get a direct subsidy from a state to keep tuition and fees low, so now you're seeing, I think, one or two past the $100,000 a year mark. So that leaves public
about Anthology Engage, the student engagement platform. Both Matthew and Frank approached Ted and I think they talked to President Warner about it as well, that we need a student engagement platform here. I was all about it because I didn't know you didn't have one. It's kind of something that we should have here. And I'm familiar with that particular platform because I had it at my last institution. In fact, it was like 15 years. So they, not only was it well used, but it was relied upon. So it's, you know, it's a great thing for clubs and organizations to use for their kind of back end part of managing those things, but it's also for publicizing events and everything about these clubs. So student engagement in general. So I was all about it, and we, I think Student Success and SCG got together on the funding, how to fund it, and we were ready to go. So the next thing you do is purchase it. But because we're a state school here, we have to purchase things through the state. So currently, we had to go through a lot of hoops, Ted and I and Jessica, to do a sole source justification. Now, the reason for that is because otherwise, for that kind of purchase that's kind of hefty, you have to put out an RFP, and that's a whole huge process where you have to get all these vendors, and Cindy's familiar with it. We've come through many RFPs. I think there is the good news is that there is a lot of justification for a sole source purchase, that this is the one, because Anthology is the same company that owns Blackboard, so we already are Anthology customers. So I think we've got all of our paperwork in place. It's going to the state to be approved. I have high hopes for that. I'm trying to push it through as quickly as possible because I'd like something in place for the fall. So I will continue to push that. Ted will continue to push that. And we're hopeful that that'll happen.
Lori, can I just jump one thing?
Sure.
And I don't know if Frank and Matt have shared that the college is paying for the first year of that. And then we'll do half for the other years. But because of the process and everything we've been going through, the college is paying the first full year. And then we'll split the cost of the next 4.
Sure.
Is it looking to be done around summer or around like beginning of fall?
We need to get it, work on getting it into place over the summer. There's an integration that's involved to get all the students into, you know, be able to log into it and all that. So I'm hoping to have it, the goal is to have it launched for the students in the, you know, the fall.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, actually, I was hoping the president would stick around a little bit longer. I was hoping he could kind of push that for me, but I'll talk to him about it. The second announcement is the Help Center extended weekend hours support. I sent an email to Matthew and Frank about that. I think they forwarded that around to the rest of student community government. But just to reiterate kind of what we're doing. So starting last week.
Lori, I think it went out to the student body. It wasn't only about, I think it went to the student body.
All right, great. Okay, so I'm just going to hit the highlights then. For Saturday support, it was formerly 8 to 2. That now extends to 4:45, and then Sundays it was formerly closed. We now offer the phone and in-person support in Adams Library from 1 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. They are student workers that are also manning that the labs there, but they are you know, trained in kind of all the tough things, or the things that would throw you for a loop, like login problems and stuff like that. They have all of the resources they need to help with that. It's probably the best we could do in a short term. I mean, hiring people is difficult. We've had the conversation with President Warner tonight about just being conservative, not quite sure what's going to get thrown at us in terms of getting a new position for this. But I do have some things that I want to do that I'm pursuing for the fall semester. One is more likely than the other. One is to just offer more extended hours at critical times, like during exams. I'd like your input on what hours those might be. The other is to request a permanent position, so an information technologist, not just a student workers, but you know, someone to cover hours on Saturday through Wednesday, so they would work the off hours. A lot of people would prefer those hours sometimes. It works out better for their lives. So I'd like to get that. But I can't, you know, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure how likely that is to get the position. But I've had a chance yet to talk to the president Sarah, the CFO. So just let me get your input on the hours. That would be good. If we were able to, I think we could offer, I think this is doable, offering extended hours at critical times by stipend. I'm not sure. We had picked some ideas around of, current staffing in IT, volunteering, to do these additional hours. But if we were able to do that, what would be good hours during critical times? And what are the critical times? Are there others besides exams?
The first month of school for first year students.
Sure, okay.
A lot of us is that do not know how to use the every negative news process with high school. Black boys and women, we don't use that in high school, so it's that.
Especially black.
Yeah. Also my week is also like a new, so many things that my week offers, like the tutoring, how to get into how to book tutoring hours to that, my week and stuff like that. So maybe the first month of my first 2 weeks of beginning of school for first year students.
Okay.
And
Does anything happen during orientation to help them with that kind of stuff?
There is an orientation, but it gets explained. Well, sometimes people don't. I don't know. They might call. They might have like loving problems, and they don't know what to call. Or all that is said orientation in my knowledge is that they tell them to call IT, and sometimes IT might not be open during the times that they want to get into their stuff. So
Okay. All right, thank you. I wrote that stuff down, so.
I'd like to add to, as several of us were former orientation leaders, and I would say that we do discuss it quite a decent amount, but the issue is that so much information is given at orientation, and many students go like at the beginning or the middle of the summer, and by the time they arrive in the semester and they're using all these like technology services, then they kind of need a refresher. So I agree with what Fati's saying, and I think that maybe like beginning and middle and ends kind of each semester is probably most helpful, but I would like input from other people too.
Sure, so I'll keep my quick, but I do work at the help desk right now, so at least what I've seen recently is a lot of people need help logging into MyRic because of registration and stuff like that. And so I know registration starts at 7:15 in the morning sometimes, and it might be good if there is a person there in the morning or at night to be like, I have to register for classes now, and then I have to wait till 7:30 till they open. You know what I mean? Like we've had a lot of calls that are just in the morning, hey, I forgot how to log into MyRic or have trouble or something with their account. So I think something around registration could be helpful.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
I was going to say, like during so I'm a faculty advisor, like during orientation and stuff like that, and there's a major gap in the help that we need when I'm trying to help students register for classes and they can't log in, and the password isn't working, and it's hard to get in touch with anybody. So these are especially during the summertime or beginning of the semester, but like there's orientation sessions that happen throughout the breaks, and I just feel like we're always struggling in that area. So
Okay, the registration help is, all right.
Representing Grant and then representing Forrest.
So I can answer that. So the process of getting to my stuff, but like if your email isn't working, the only person that can fix that is IT. The problem is getting IT to like on the phone to fix the stuff. Yeah. That's
So there's like a link on the MyRic login page that you probably know brings you to like a bunch of screenshots with instructions of how to create an account and register. And like, I think it works pretty well, but people still they call admissions too, and I walk people through like every day that I work there, how to create a MyRic account. But it's like such a simple process, And I think if the pictures aren't working, maybe a video walkthrough, getting sent out to people would be cool, with like a voice saying what they're doing at the same time.
Love it. I've had good success with that in the past. And it's short. I mean, anybody can watch a minute, 3 or 4 minutes. That's all it would take.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Maybe I can recruit help desk work, experienced help
Sounds
desk
good.
worker. Be the voice. Well, yeah, Miguel, are you, I think you said admissions, right?
He works in it.
Oh, okay.
He's a student worker.
Okay, I'm looking for volunteers to be the voice.
Sure.
The last thing is wireless. I have talked to Dr. Henry. I know he's concerned about it. I've been concerned about it. It came up I was at the last faculty council meeting, and they were concerned about the open nature of the rate guest Wi-Fi network. So I just wanted to let you know we're working on that. There are risks associated with an open network. It is more secure than you think, just because it's, I guess, it allows people to easily connect, and that's great, but there's security implications. So let me see if I can make this very simple, just quick. So the guest network, it does let people on it without a password, but it's designed to prevent peer-to-peer communication, so devices cannot see or interact with one another. It's one-way traffic directed out to the internet. So there's things that would prevent a hacker from really just causing a lot of trouble here, but that doesn't mean, there's other things that can happen on an open wireless network. So, and it's going to be, before you know it, in another year or two, that they're not going to allow that at all anymore. So what we're doing is, just next week, we've met internally about, hey, we got to do something about this. What are our options? So we came up with some options. Our wireless provider, or wireless, like our WAPs, our wireless access points, is Aruba. So we're meeting with Aruba. We're getting some help to discuss options on that. But just be assured that I'm on it. I'm not going to let it continue to be this way. And if it kills me, we're going to have a secure wireless network here. And it's a priority. So I'm going to keep pushing forward on that. So I don't know that it shouldn't be a problem. Once we have secure wireless here, we'll implement it in such a way so it's not going to cause anybody, trouble. But with a secure wireless network, and most schools have them, if you have a RIC login, and once you get on it, you get on it automatically. It's not like it causes you a lot of trouble and you got to sign into it every time or something. Any questions on that as we go forward on that? I will be transparent about it, let you know where we are with it, and plans moving forward for input. Any questions on that one?
So would the idea be that this complete public RIC, but then also our RIC Wi-Fi for faculty, staff, and students?
There will be still be a RIC guest. We're going to probably retire the one that's there, but there will be a RIC guest network, which will require a type of registration, just so we know who's on the network. That's the problem with that. We don't right now. Yeah, it's fairly secure as far as anybody be able to wreak havoc, but we don't know who's on it. So it will allow us to, if there's a registration page, you have to put in a phone number and stuff, and then you use that to be able to log in, just so we can track any bad things that might be happening on that network. So there'll be a guest continued. It'll just be different than what we have now. And the secure wireless would be like I was talking about, where you log. I think it would be faculty, staff, and students. But because you have a RIC login, you'd be able to get on with that. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Only last thing I have is I want to continue the dialogue. I know we're losing. I've gotten to know Frank and Matthew and some of you here, and for those of you that are graduating, I'm sad about that, but happy for you. But I would like to come back and continue the dialogue. I know technology services and technology needs are very important to students, and I'll come back, periodically like I have this year.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to acknowledge the fact that Lori came a couple of months ago and really heard the issues from SCG, and then came back with real responses, and I think that's what you should expect from adults on campus, whether or not it's a faculty member or it's an administrator for doing that. So I just want to give some props for her for coming back with real answers to the issues that you all raised.
We're gonna move on to the faculty updates. We move that right after. So, Markup or Representative Markup, give it.
Yes, so I know that there have been a lot of concerns when it comes to the equity and quality of advising. As you may remember, I am the chair of the Arts and Sciences Academic Advising, sort of like subcommittee, ad hoc committee, because we are not using professional advisors. We are still using like the faculty advisor model, and we've been meeting throughout the year, and I've taken a lot of the student feedback back to them. So just like some of the things to consider, I know we talked about, the potential for feedback or evaluations, and so one of the issues that we run into is that the faculty are to be evaluated for something, it has to be in the contract, or it's going to be in the contract, there has to be guidelines. So the thing that we really accomplished at this point that we're going to start really promoting with the faculty are guidelines to being a good academic advisor, which we just don't have, right? And so that would be stuff like, you're not just like releasing their goals. Like you should be meeting with them. You should be interested in what their career goals are. You should be available not just during like the academic advising time, in particular. You should be trying to help them find grants or scholarships or internship opportunities. And so we came up with a whole list of guidelines, and I think from that we have support from the Dean of Arts and Sciences to really implement some programming around that for faculty, so more training, although we can't make anybody go to training yet. But one of the other things we found is that there isn't really training for new hires, which I thought was dope. like it didn't really occur to me because I've been here for so long now, but I was like, yeah, nobody really told me what to do. They're just like, yeah, students are gonna come, and then you tell them what classes to take, and I was like, okay. But I just happen to be the type that what do you want to do with your life? So I just automatically cared, but if they're not getting trained to do that, so by having the guidelines, we can then implement programs to train people and make resources more accessible. So that's the thing is student resources are so scattered, and there's not really a central location for us to find. So I don't have the answers to everything, but I know how to find the answers, but it takes a long time because they're scattered, right? So it's we want to sort of create a centralized database for advising so that when students come to us about some financial aid questions, we know how to find the answer, or we know who we can send them to get the answer at the very least. So we are working on it. It is important to us. That's as far as we got.
Thank you. Perry, do you have any updates?
Just two. One is, I don't know how close we're going to have, but I think it'd be worthwhile for SCG to continue to ask the provost about the productivity and efficiency reports and what will come of that for the different departments, and that we don't just leave in May without you all knowing if there's going to be changes that are going to be implemented on the departmental level starting in September 2025. So that would be my plug to you all to keep asking Sheila about what's happening. And then the second is that I think it is worthwhile not just thinking about what's happening on the federal government level from SCG only about reductions in federal funding, because the faculty, along with the federal task force that the administration has set up, has also been really conscious about what's happening to different populations of students, including immigrant students. And around the country in the last 2 weeks, we have seen students who had student visas for studying in colleges, and around the country, there's now data that there are hundreds of students who have had their visas revoked, and students here at RIC who've already left RIC. And I think that we need to keep this top of mind with President Warner and the university, that it's not only about cuts in programs and services, it's also about our students And some students are more at risk than other students, and how we protect all of our students. So those would be the two things that I would bring up.
Thank you. I didn't get an email for open forum. Was there anyone here for open forum? Okay. I'll move on to officer announcements. I give the floor to President Hicks.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you all for coming tonight. Just a quick couple updates. So we have a new staff rep that will be starting at our next Parliament meeting, and that is Danny Rosa from the Media Center. And our new, we're adding our additional SCG advisor to replace our former with Aaron from Donovan Dining. So he will be our new advisor, one of our new additional advisor, along with Ted. What else? So just to give you all an update on our current programming search for the executive council positions. We had 11 candidates apply for 4 positions. We are doing interviews with them, and we'll be making final selections next Thursday after interviews are completed. We also all right, so the next point is our final regular Parliament meeting, which will also be signed as the final one of the semester. The things that we'll be bringing is the stipend policy and code of conduct policy in Parliament to get approved. That will be our final big policy items for this year. We're also going to be trying to do the Beverly McGinnis Scholarship that we do every year. We finally have been able to work out an agreement on that with Rick Foundation, so we'll be now moving forward on that. And also, with the elections coming up the next Parliament, we have a lot of candidates that applied. It's really good because what it tells us is that a lot of people are engaged. They want to find more ways to be involved. And I look forward to hearing what all you all have to say in 2 weeks from now. So good luck. I now yield the floor.
Thank you, Speaker Sullivan. Good evening, everybody. I have some announcements that I'll try to make expedient to you all. My first announcement, which is the most important one, well, anyway, it's the most important impact, and that is the food drive. So we have a food drive that Alex Logan has so graciously, with her expertise, been able to lead our initiative with that with the Public Relations Committee. So the Public Relations Committee has been working on this, and the food drive is currently live right now. And today we collected over I don't know, there's a box, there's one box full. I know you don't know how big the box is. But there's one box. It's a lot. And we're gonna double it. We're gonna double everything that we get. So, however many contributions we make prior to the deadline, which is next Friday, we're gonna take the value of that and contribute it somehow from SCG as well. So we still have to figure out exactly how we're gonna do that, but that all is gonna go to the food pantry on campus. So please donate and get your peers to donate, because 1 can of tuna is 2 cans of tuna.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's for the food drive. The other thing is that there's, can I see your thing? Is that for the food drive?
Yeah.
You have a question? Yeah.
So on the flyer, it says that one of the most needed items are toiletries. What are some examples of toiletries?
Great question. So if you go onto our Instagram, a few weeks ago, actually it might even be over a month ago, we made a video partnered with Learning for Life, and if you watch that video, I forgot his name, but the person from, anyway, an employee from Learning for Life was able to show exactly what it was. So just watch that video and then it's in there. Yeah, great question. Okay. The next event is my next point is that we have the Spectrum event this Friday. Do all student organizations sing the same event, and that's going to be from just a quick explanation of it. Essentially, this event is, there's different prompts that are given, and each prompt will be related to the experiences of student organizations on campus, and all of the student leaders will be in one room, and if you strongly agree with the prompt or you strongly disagree, then you would move your body, like, to position yourself in the room, and everybody has the opportunity to, like, comment on why they are satisfied or unsatisfied with the statement. It's, like, hard to explain, but if you watch on YouTube, the Jubilee YouTube channel does these. So it's inspired by the Jubilee YouTube. You know about it? Sydney knows about it. That's Sydney. Okay. So the next thing is, oh, sorry. Well, before I move on, I said Expedia, but it's not Expedia anymore. So on our group meet with the student organizations group meet with everybody in it, try to get everybody that would like to attend to RSVP on there, because right now I'm a little bit worried. There's like low numbers, so get all your peers like RSVP on there. And if they're not on the group meet, get them to join the group meet. Like all student leaders, we want them on there. All the student org leaders. Okay. Next thing, I think it was mentioned before about Rick's Rick Day at the State House. Like Dr. Warner said, we're participating in that. So again, if you could RSVP in the SCG group chat for that event. If you need a ride, one can be provided for you. But this is a really fun event, great for networking too. So we hope to see as many of you there as possible that would like to attend. And then class officer elections are live right now, but all of that information is in an email. And then the last thing I have to say is that currently we have 11 validated Parliament members for the 2025-2026 academic year. So congratulations to all the people. And I hope that the rest of you that have now retained your positions would do so soon. Thank you very much. And good luck to the candidates that applied to be an SCG officer. That's all I have that you look for.
I yield the floor to Secretary Wallace.
All right, just two quick announcements. I sent you guys all an email about store view, so you can RSVP on there. With that, I have a sign-up sheet if you guys want to help set up or clean up. This would count as like the gels hours that you would have to do at the table. So if you want to sign up, I'm going to pass this around. Yeah, that's all I got. Give the floor.
I yield the floor to Treasurer Bobby.
Hi everyone. I don't have a lot of announcements. Then we had our second to the last finance commission meeting. It was my second to the last one, and I'm gonna have my last one in 2 weeks. Also the last sign guide for the elections. And I just want to say that if you are running for the office, be intent in what you want to do and how you want to move forward. We also I'm losing my tongue, sorry. We're going to bring a summer policy which I'll be talking about all through the semester. It's going to be brought to you guys.
That's awesome. Contributions. I'll tell all of you that we're just a money.
Yeah, that was a lot nicer. I told them to bring some.
We're bringing this stipend policy to Parliament next 2 weeks. We've been working on it all semester, and it's going to be a change that I want you guys to understand what you are approving and what you are signing up for. There's a lot of it took a long time to approve because there was a lot of discussion that we as finance commission had to navigate through. So as you guys listen to it next 2 weeks, please look to what you're saying or what you're approving. And like they have all been saying, me, Frank, and Matthew, we've had the opportunity to make the organization as paid as we possibly can, and we
my announcements are, filing is going good. We're about to approve the conditions and services policy, so that's awesome. And that's kind of it. So can I get a motion to approve Perry Lewis's, gonna leave early for some personal reasons? Can I get a motion to approve that? First by Representative Boyle, seconded by Representative Gregorio. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed. Can I get a motion to approve, Dr. Marcotte's absent? She also had some personal reasons, which I leave early. First by Representative Luker, seconded by Representative Boyles. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed. All right, I yield the floor to Deputy Speaker Byers.
I don't have a lot to say. The annual survey is still live. I'm happy to say that over 600 students have taken the survey.
That's the record.
Yeah, the highest number in SCG, you know?
Yeah.
So it's still live for one more week, so if you just want to tell all your friends, students, etc., I'd appreciate it, and I know you'll look forward to it.
All right, we're gonna move on to constitutions and conference reports. So I yield the floor to Secretary Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. Can you ask rock climbing?
Sure.
All right, so it's right after the minutes. Rock climbing's constitution should be the first one that you guys see. If you want to look up online. You can stand right in the middle.
Oh, it's Sam.
Yep, you guys can present right in the middle.
Okay.
It's right after the minutes. So when you guys are all set, like just tell Parlor, like give them a brief overview of like what your job is.
So my name is Jordan. My name is Sage.
My name's Nathan.
And we wanted to do a rock climbing club because we've gotten over 19 people who are interested in the sport. There's people who have been doing it for a while. And we just want to connect and have more opportunities to have education about like various things such as like physiology or like conservation, climbing techniques. So we feel like we could do that and have like a community of people who are like-minded and have like a fun way to bring physical activities to the student campus.
I would like to open the floor to any questions that anyone would have. That was fun.
Yeah. Would the outing part of the outing coalition part, would that just be like going on hikes, or could I get more like context on what that would look like?
Sure, any like events or could be hikes, but we're not sure of like the legality of going outside, basically. So that's something we wanted clarification on tonight. I know other clubs do hikes, so that's what we were planning, but of course if it's not allowed, then it would just be events.
I can answer your question. You can take students out. Each student has to sign a waiver and keep the waiver back to college, and that's it. But you're allowed to go on hikes. SBA goes on hikes every other month. Oh, every 2 weeks. Sorry. So you're allowed to go on hikes, but every time going on hike, that's fine without going. That's sign a waiver. You want to go on the hike.
Okay. So do you think that a waiver could be created?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the school has a waiver. You come to the office to get a waiver, and you pass it out to your members who are on the hike. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, just come to the office.
Yeah, that's good.
Representative Boyles?
Will you guys go to like rock spot or like a rock climbing place?
Rock spot would be ideally like the first option, just because it's so close to school.
Yeah.
It's about an 8-9 minute drive from here. There's other gyms in Rhode Island that do
would like to offer as a club, like Central Lockton and Warwick. That's a nice one because it has, not only does it have bouldering, it also has rope climbing, and it also has like a great gym facility where, kids in the club could, exercise in a fun, engaging way.
There's also people who have their own memberships, so they're grandfathered into like really discounted prices at CRG or Oxford, so you might not have events like this. Any other questions?
Can I get a motion to approve rock climbing on Coalition? First by Representative Foyle, seconded by Representative Kong. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed.
So, like I mentioned earlier, SBA could not make it to this meeting, so we're just going to move right to ASA. They just have revisions to their constitution, so. Yeah, so it will explain in there like a rationale of why there's change and the proposed change that they are going to make.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mabel. I am the secretary for ASA. On behalf of that, we just wanted to put event coordinator into our constitution.
Representative Boyles?
Why do you need an extra position in your evening?
Good question, my guy. An event coordinator ensures all events are well planned, organized, and executed smoothly, creating meaningful experiences for all. Without someone dedicated to planning our events, it can get crazy and chaotic. The role of the event coordinator can free up members so we can focus on other specific goals.
You also talked about changing the meeting time as well. That's a proposed change. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more, why you guys are making this change? In your constitution revision, you guys mentioned changing your weekly meetings from Wednesday to Monday, so.
Oh yeah, it's just because like all the members like schedules align with being open for Monday for the semester instead of Wednesdays.
Why pick a specific date though? Why not just say like weekly? So you weren't like entitled to Monday.
Like I said, we're just like free on that day.
Okay.
Yeah, and we didn't want to like create like different days because it'll get like chaotic and like unorganized. We just want a specific day, so it's like set in stone for and for.
So I think what we're trying to say is that when you have your meeting set to a very specific time in your constitution, the constitution isn't easy to change, so you are locked into that and there's no flexibility. Whereas if you just say you want to have weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings, then, or a certain amount of meetings per semester, then you have flexibility, and then you could decide every semester you might have a different meeting time. Or maybe next year the new officers might, if there are new officers next year, maybe they want to have a different meeting time. And by not specifying it, they have flexibility. But there's no like, so you normally in the Constitution they don't specify an exact time. It's not necessary because you can choose your own time.
Well, I just joined this e-board this year, so I didn't know what they had planned from last semester or anything, but.
No, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So what we're proposing is that you not have a very like structured time that you have to meet, and instead it be more broad and general, so therefore you can choose what time you want to meet. You know, yeah, that way next week you decide, oh, we don't want to meet Wednesday, we want to meet Monday. And then you can do that without changing your constitution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if I can chime in quick, because it's like, just because it's like, especially because you guys talk about your board and you're trying to implement like your board meetings, it's like with those, it's like obviously right now, like before you're available at Wednesdays from 12 to 2 or Mondays from 12 to 2. But the thing is, what happens next semester and someone has to work at that time, or someone has a class at that time, then you guys are going to have to change it, and then you're going to go through the entire constitution process to make that change again. Where it's like, you guys, like as a board, you can set the time yourselves when you get the constitution. So, there's a current argument here.
Okay. I'll give you guys. Yeah, okay.
And I make a motion to amend the constitution to word weekly meeting for the board members and do weekly meeting for the board members and move the Monday to 12 to 2 work it out. Any motion? No, I'm just amending that.
So a motion to approve amending it to, instead of saying Monday 12 to 2, but instead changing it to just saying weekly. Make a motion to approve that amendment. First by Representative Boyer, seconded by Representative Logan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, passed. So if we just go back to your board and be like, we're going to change that, you guys are open? Okay, so now can I get a motion to approve the amended constitution?
Yes.
First by Representative Pong, seconded by Representative Tomini. Yeah.
You didn't go over the membership change. No, the very top one?
Yeah, that's no issue. You have questions about it?
They're just adding numbers to it. They're just adding numbers to it.
Is there any discussion on the proposed changes to their constitution? Other than what has already been discussed?
So, can I get a motion to approve their amended constitution? First by Representative Di Gregorio, seconded by Representative Doyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Now it's passed. Just tell your board students that and you're all good.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay. Now we'll move on to reports. So Treasurer Bobby is going to speak on the Finance Commission meeting minutes from March 5th and 26th.
Can you look through your packets and go through the March 5th Finance Commission meeting and if you have any discussions, questions?
My name's not listed on March 5th, and I've attended every single
Oh,
meeting.
it's for Finance Commission, not for election.
Oh, okay, I thought you said,
No, this is for finance action.
oh, okay, I apologize.
It's okay, the Parliament meetings have the same day, so it could be confusing.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 5th, 2025? First by, questions?
Oh, I know you.
First by Tiana. Second by Sonia, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Can you look through the March 26th?
Wait, for Nikita.
Yeah.
Hi, just a point of clarity. So did you know, I learned, that Finance Commission does not have to abstain from minutes or budget, just going forward. You don't have to abstain. You can abstain, but you don't have to, just so you guys know. Did some research on them. Thank you.
All right.
Joking, March 26th, commission minutes. Look through it, any discussions, questions, concerns? Any discussions? Do I get a motion to approve the March 26th finance commission meeting minutes? First by Miguel, second by Dante, all in favor? All opposed, any abstentions?
I abstain.
Let the meeting.
Raise your hand if you just abstain, please. Okay.
Oh, wait, does that make it harder for you?
I just have to write down who abstained.
Oh,
So just
I'm
raise your
sorry.
hand. No, it's okay. Well, it already happened, so just raise your hand if you did it.
I give the floor back to Speaker,
Thank you.
Solomon.
Thank you. All right. Well, you also have election committee, we have election committee minutes from Vice President Casella.
Good evening again. So, at our fourth official meeting of the Elections Commission of March 18, 2025, we talked about the elections that were happening for class officers, SCG, and student organizations. So it was basically just like brainstorming the logistics of that. And then the other thing we talked about were any drafts of changes that we would make to the petition for students that are interested in joining Parliament. So let me know if you have any questions.
Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the election committee meeting on March 18th? First by Representative Logan, seconded by Representative Gregorio. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Abstentions?
Write your own meeting minutes.
All right, passed. We'll now move on to new business, which is the mission statement that Vice President Costello and the PR committee created.
Yes, the PR committee created a new mission statement. So, the preface, our current mission statement is a page long in 12-point font Times New Roman, single space. So obviously that's way too long. So we brought it down to a paragraph. So what we will do now is that I'm going to put it on a sheet for you. Please take a moment to look at it, and I'll read it for you in a very inspiring voice. And then you can provide feedback if you think that it's ready to go and be approved as is, or if you suggest any revisions to it. We did spend a lot of time on this, believe it or not, for such a short day. But if you do think that something should be changed, please say it, because this should be a big deal. It's our mission statement, it's who we are as people and what we represent at our college. So please feel free to just say whatever you want. I won't be offended. And I think I can speak for the rest of the Public Relations Committee that we want to hear your input. So without any further ado, our mission is to represent and advocate for every student at Rhode Island College. We allocate student funds to empower organizations and initiatives that enhance campus life while ensuring student voices are heard in key decisions that shape their college experience. Miguel.
Is there, so like, what does the old one say? Like, what are you leaving out?
Good question. Let me pull it up real quick. Nobody can really summarize it. It's really long. Here, hold on a second. It's on our website.
Yeah, pull up the website.
It's on our website.
A lot of pressure.
Where is it? looking really bad right now.
Someone said you were eating the bylaws.
Is it? Not here. I'm used to a map, okay?
One, like, everyone has to pick one.
Okay, it's like, God is telling us that it's not so good.
All right.
Okay, I can summarize it. So basically, the current mission statement, I've read it a lot more times than you have. Okay, the current mission statement, what it is that it's extremely, it's extremely it says things very specifically. It's not broad at all. Like it's not like this is supposed to be very concise, very friendly, described. The other one says things like we specifically can't hold events. Like that's one example that it says. It says defines what student parliament is specifically, as opposed to our entire organization more holistically. So this thing is very, very specific and very constricting, whereas this one is more broad in scope. And my apologies, I didn't occur to me that I probably would need to bring the old one, but I can provide a copy of that. So if you all think that you need to see a copy of the old one before you vote tonight, we could just staple it, but it's up to you.
Can I get a motion to approve? We want to table tonight? Yeah? Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, I think this is too important to not have people see both. And there are some suggestions, like typically we would say the mission of SCG. So I think that my suggestion would be to send everything out to everybody, get feedback so you can vote on it the next time. But I think it's important because this is critical to your organization. So although I know there's a lot of work, and I don't think there's a lot of work, there's a few little things, I think you just want to make sure everyone buys in.
Okay, I agree with that.
Can I get a motion to approve tabling this to the next meeting? First by Representative Tom, seconded by Representative Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, passes. See you at next meeting with all of the old ones as well. So we will now move on to the administrative update with Ms. Cindy Kozel.
So, President Warner took a lot of the things I was going to talk about, but Kevin Fitta, who directs our capital project, will be sending you all an email about the master plan. The college has not done a master plan with space, facilities, et cetera, since 2010, and they want student voices. And so we suggested that the architect meets the student community government members, as well as engaging students in all the components. So if you get those emails, know that your voice is really important, because it's about what do we do in the residence community, where should different schools be located, offices, what spaces are needed, et cetera. And you're the best people to give that information, so that's critical. The other piece is we are moving to homecoming next fall, homecoming 25, alumni and family weekend, which we have not had here for many years. And we need student representatives. We need a representative from your new programming event board, as well as a rep from student community government. We don't need those now, but I wanted to put that out there because we have a framework of the weekend, but we need student voice. And that will be October 17th and 18th next year. So that is really, really important. And then just for the graduating seniors, please make sure to put 4:30, April 30th on your calendar for the cap and gown, because that's when you actually put your cap and gown on for the first time, and that's an exciting event. And even though he mentioned it, I want to say, I think our clubs and organizations did a phenomenal job at Accepted Students Day. And I talked to Ted today in our meeting about next year. I think we need to have prizes for the clubs that have the best booth and actually give them some programming dollars or things, because I think you are doing such a great job and I'd love to see some more incentives. And next year's Accepted Students Day is on March 28th, and the new theme is opening day, like a baseball theme, because it ties in with the opening of Major League Baseball next year. So those are my comments.
March 30th?
March 28th.
Where did I get 28th? Oh, I know March 28th. All right, thank you. And I will move on to Mr. Tenzino's update.
Thank you, appreciate it. I want to first say thank you very much to this group. I know my team has been reaching out to you in lots of different capacities, whether that be to attend Acceptance Tuesday, to attend the President's forum with the student leaders. Also, gosh, we've been all over. Right, exactly, all over asking for help and support. So number one, thank you. I recognize what a difficult and challenging time it is, especially with April upon us. I encourage you to keep pushing and keep going. There's lots going on, but enjoy it because it's going to go by fast. So I thank you for that. I also just want to say your questions for President Warren today were excellent. I thought you were doing a fine job, so you can whispering in my ear that the questions were excellent. So well done, well thought out. Thank you. You represented yourselves well and asked important questions that students want to know and hear about. One last thing, I do want to plug Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we've had events going on, as in what you were wearing, as over in the library right now for the next week, I think, beyond. So if you have a chance to go over there, it's a very powerful exhibit. But more importantly, we also want to remind folks of resources, and we sent out today, I think, an email from my email account about our Vector, our trainings. And if anyone familiar with what Vector is, or what some of you will know, it's our online training platform for students. A lot of incoming students are required to take a sexual assault prevention training, but there are a number of other modules out there that you can learn and help yourself become a better resource, learn a little bit about relationships, how to be an active bystander. I would say recommend. I'd recommend that you take a look at some of those trainings. They're pretty robust and can be very helpful as you navigate kind of a really tough thing. And look out for one another. Reach out when you need support. I wish you all the best as you close out the next couple of meetings. It's going to be quick, so thank you.
Thank you. All right. Guys, thank you. I will now give the floor to President Cheeks for appointments, resignations, and vacancies.
All right, so for appointments, for resignations, vacancies, we got one appointment. We got course of hires to the Elections Commission. For resignations, we have Justin Hall from Parliament, and then expulsions, we have August Jones from Parliament due to excessive absences, as well as Ashley Browns due to excessive absences from the Finance Commission. Can I get a motion to approve all the appointments, resignations, and expulsions?
First, Representative DiGregorio, seconded by Representative Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passed.
All right, and also just one more point I can think of. Okay. So college committees, I know that many of you are on it. If you are not getting emails from your chairs saying that, like when you're supposed to be meeting, so you're not included, please email me and let me know so I can get on it, because I know there have been certain committees that have done a really good job of getting their student focus, and there's some that have not. So I want to get like a good idea of what those are so I can address that with the administration.
I'll move on to issues of Parliament members. What's on the event coming on? Wixon has Rock On this Friday, and we have Rock On next week. It's a really great event. It's really great for the performing community. It's a good way to end the semester. It's supposed to be nice out. It's a great way to also just meet people from these bands. That's really fun. So yeah, Representative Diane.
So I recently discovered that SCG has a Google business listing, so if you'd like to make a review
Matthew Jakes.
Present.
Frank Costello. Marina Colonis. Fatia Obabi. Tess Sullivan. Clarissa Pires. Zaria Lynn Campbell. Sonia Chatayan. Dante DiGregorio. Jack Doyle.
I'm still here.
Lindsay Futrell. Caitlin Grant. Miguel Hoyos. Riley Jackman. Alexander Kong. Alex Logan. Lydia Luther. Gianna Rose. Benjamin Tomini. Lucas Weber. Cindy Kozel. Ted Zito. Perry Levis. Melissa Marcotte. Gianna Delmonico. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.